It's the Behind the Shade show.
Many people, when it comes to a traumatic event, they begin to develop that voice that's inside them that says, maybe you don't want to go here, maybe you don't want to trust that person, be on the alert. And I think many times, unfortunately, we've always had that voice, but after the trauma, it gets louder
Hmm.
because now we're hearing it before maybe we were ignoring it. We're like, Train, that person's energy, it just throws me off a little bit.
Right.
But we ignore it, right? And then we go there, and then if something happens, we're like, it's an
Hmm.
unfortunate situation because we're not
Right.
responsible for what happens to us most of the time, but we are responsible for how we can resolve and protect ourselves afterwards.
Yep.
When it comes to the trauma that you experience or just trauma in general for some people, it seems like there's two things that always impacts them post trauma. There's the guilt of the trauma, and then there's the shame of the trauma. How do you think that impacted you, if it did, and how do you think it impacts people in general to deal with the shame and the guilt of their traumatic experience?
Yeah, since I mean my childhood trauma came when I was very, very young. By age 8, I lost my beloved father violently. And after that, my mother fell into a deep depression that she never recovered from it. It was like part of my mother died with my father, because the woman that she was before my father's death was a whole different person from what she became, unfortunately, after my father's death. She lost everything. She lost her all, that is for sure. And then after that, being in a world of silence, a little girl listening, hearing about, I mean, around her, it's like, shh, you don't talk about the dead, just you don't talk about the dead. So this little girl, what she understood was, I don't talk about anything bad. That's literally what I understood. So in between the ages of 8 and 9, I lost my father, I lost my mother in a big way, and I was sexually assaulted for the first time. I didn't understand what was going on. But what I grew up around was, maybe I put this on myself. Maybe it's my fault that this happened to me. And this is when shame, low self esteem, and low self worth, those three came together in a big group. And it followed me everywhere I went because I embraced it as well. All I thought about myself was, I'm ashamed, and maybe I did something wrong. And I was always thinking, for that first time when I was walking down that walkway in between houses from school with a backpack that was bigger than me, with this uniform, and this bully passes by me and does what he did. It was a grown ass man, and I was a 9 year old girl. I really thought for a very long time that I was responsible for that, that I did something wrong, and this is what happened for doing something wrong. But the one thing that really made it even worse for me was my silence. I never talked about this to no one until 40 years later. Yes, I waited 40 years of my life to start breaking my silence, to get support, because even when I went to counseling for other issues before, in my younger years, I never mentioned that I was a sexual violence survivor. I was so ashamed that I just wanted to bury it and throw it under the rug and under the rug and under the rug. And this is the thing: when we let shame take over, when we don't confront ourselves with this trauma, this situation will repeat itself over and over and over until we face the situation. I am a sexual assault survivor since I was 9 years old. But what happened to me when I was 9 years old it didn't stop there. I was sexually harassed for many decades of my life. I was sexually assaulted even by my ex-partner. So it kept on repeating itself over and over and over and over until I say, this is going to stop. I need help to change the narrative. I need help to start the healing process. And the healing journey never ends. This is for the rest of my life. There's good days, there's bad days, there's trigger days. And when it comes to such a violation of our bodies, it's very important to share it with your loved one. And when I say your loved one, your partner in your present. Why is this so important? Because something, and I had this experience with my now husband twice only in our marriage. We've been 12 years married, and something happened that he touched me in a certain way that it triggered me, that it took me straight back to that past. And silence is a killer when it comes to this. I was affected, I was shaking, I was trembling, I was scared, and he was like, what is happening? And I went ahead and said it all. You touched me in a way that took me somewhere, and I don't even know why, but this is the triggers that is so important that we face them, embrace them, and let them go, because we're in a safe space now, because things are better now, because you are with someone that really does respect you. And this is when it's so important to understand that our past is not going to be defining our future. It's not. We make the decision to either not let go, because these are things that will never go away from your life. Okay, this will never happen. But understanding that things are better now, that you're in a safer space, that you're in a safe place, that you respect yourself now more than ever, that I embrace my body for what it is. I understand now. I thank God every single day for this body, this functional body that is moving, even though I swept it to the ground. Because when I was in the full-blown shame, pain moments in my life in my 20s, the self-destructive pattern was nonstop. I'm telling you, Train, I don't even know how I'm still here, but God chose this for me for a reason. That is for sure. In my 30s, I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to 40. Either somebody's going to kill me or I'm going to have a drug overdose, because I was there too. I did drugs, alcohol, jumping from person to person, violent relationships, all of it on the name of shame, guilt, and low self-worth, low self-esteem. Self-sabotage followed with me, and oh boy, did self-sabotage many times over the years, and I forgave myself for it. And forgiveness is the heart of the matter. I forgave myself because I didn't know how else to cope. And when it comes to coping mechanism, we know very well that the coping mechanism can be drugs, can be alcohol, can be something that numbs us. And I lived many years of being numb, of not facing my reality, of not getting that help that I so very much needed, because I was supposed to stay quiet and stay silent. So that horrible pattern followed me, and I let it follow me for many years until I made the decision, the hard-ass decision of, let's get out of the comfort zone and make this better for myself. And I am grateful to this day. And this is why this mission became bigger than myself. This is right here, right now, with what I'm telling you. Yeah, very important, very grateful.